It's an unseasonably warm day here in January in Central Oregon, but that makes for good weather to unload 50 kayaks down at the local shop, Tumalo Creek Kayak and Canoe. They just drove up to Eddyline and are returning, and with some of their staff out with COVID, I'm driving down to give them a hand and see what's going on. So after I got done visiting Tumalo Creek, although I think I'm going to put this video in the middle, Chase, thanks for filming. They had a lot of these Sandpiper 12s over there, and I wanted to go through why they probably order a lot of these for all like the Central Oregon lakes and slow moving rivers. This is a 12-foot long sit inside recreational kayak with an open cockpit, and there's a few other ones out on the market like this. And the neat thing about this, where we have really hot summer days, is you still have a little bit of airflow, and it doesn't really matter that there's drips. You put your dog in here or have access to a cooler or photography. So I think that's why this is such a popular boat. It's easy to get into, best of all, 38 pounds. But let me show you what this has over a lot of the other open cockpitted recreational sit inside boats. As we flip the boat over, what I really like pointing out is, if you look back here, this really refined stern line, and that's one of the things that thermoforming gives you. But on the Sandpiper, I mean, this is essentially called a skeg. It's not a retractable skeg, but that line is a skeg, and this is going to give great tracking. You have a shallow V hull, so the V shape through the whole length of the boat is going to give good tracking, but also give you like that ability to do a little bit of leaning for edge turns, and then it stiffens up when it hits this side, so you still have plenty of stability for this boat, and then a nice sharp entry line here. The other thing that the Sandpiper 12 is great for, because the lakes around here are still cold even in the early summer, is this is an open cockpitted boat with front and rear bulkheads. And so what I mean by that is you have built-in safety and flotation in the bow and in the stern. And that is, in case of a capsize, you're going to be able to not have as much water and re-enter your kayak. The Sandpiper has a unique seat from Eddyline, in that it's not does not have the hip struts in this model, and so it does give you more room. So somebody that might need a little more space in the hip and rear area, this is going to be a great option, and it just makes it kind of a relaxed fit. The seat is fixed to the bottom of the boat, so just no fuss there. And yet on the back here, we do still have 3 different height adjustments, and 3 different seat heights, and you still have forward lean with this pull strap similar to the other boats. It has a really nice comfort mesh back pad. If you own an older Eddyline, this is actually the seat pad that you can use to retrofit onto your older model for a more comfortable backrest. It's really plush, really squishy, still padded seats, nice foot braces, fully adjustable, and then this is the knee pad or thigh pad, and it can be moved in position depending on your leg length and what feels comfortable for you. I've found that in this model, my size, I can still kind of get my thighs underneath and brace in rough conditions, so that's really nice. Little deck shock bungees here just to store an extra layer or a paddle float or a pump or sponge, and then bow and stern carry handles. But again, the really neat thing about this boat is how many different people can use it, how easy it is to enter, how light it is to carry, great tracking, and when you see this on the water, just a real nice low windage. Because here in Central Oregon, some of the lakes, you know, in the afternoon, we get that mountain wind. This thing does really well in that. You can fit a spray skirt on this. Eddyline has the Sandpiper spray skirt. It has a long zipper down it. I've done a couple other videos on that, so you can open it up partially for a little bit of airflow, but if the wind or the waves kick up, you can close it and have a drier ride that way as well. All right, let's get back to unloading all those boats with Tumalo Creek. Quarter into about 50 boats, seeing a lot of Sitkas, all sizes. Just loaded a couple Sandpiper 130s, and we're going through them. This is the old mill district. You see the old smokestacks here. We've got a bike path that goes right along. Underneath this bridge is the Whitewater Park, And you have 4 wave features. Then you also have a whitewater passageway for tubers. And then there's actually a riparian zone for wildlife. This is Tumalo Creek's private dock right here. So if you're interested in checking out a boat or renting a boat for the afternoon, you can put in right here. And you basically have a couple mile paddle upstream of flat water. As you get to the very top, there's a few little mild pour overs that you may have seen in other videos. It's kind of fun to play with. And then, of course, if you're a whitewater boater, you can just shoot right down under the bridge and be in some of the best waves around the Northwest. Tumalo Creek's back of their shop, big open lawn where they can do the beginning of their instruction and get you outfitted for rental. They have a really nice cage over here full of demo boats for you to try and rent. Whenever I get asked a question about durability, I try to show my demo boats, which just get a lot of hard use. And here's another good example. Here's Tumalo's rental and demo fleet here. So if you're shopping and you're curious how Eddylines hold up to lava rock, you can take a peek at some of their boats, and what you might see in a half a season is probably what you'll do in about 5 seasons. So a real good test of Eddyline's durability here. Okay, so we've now fit as many as we could in the shop. I'm going to show you how the sausage is stored, and we're headed to their little local warehouse to put the rest away. Well, the kayaking business is the shipping business, and grassroots independent retailers like Tumalo Creek make their own runs up to Eddyline. We had to drive the boats over to a spare lot that Tumalo Creek keeps some box trailers and vans at. And unfortunately, in today's age, some of the stingers with the trailer hitches were stolen off of their vans. So now I'm running back to the shop to go get a replacement hitch. And you know, oftentimes we don't talk about the hidden cost of little vandalism and theft that takes place in a lot of these stores, because boats are so big and they need big vehicles and big equipment and big storage. They have to deal a bunch with this. So we're gonna go get a new hitch and then get back to moving some trailers so we have a place to put the rest of these boats. Well, now we're headed to another off-site storage site to put the rest of the boats away. This is a familiar one because I used to use those before building the cathedral at my place. I'm in the cage here. We're down to 6 Skylarks. Looks like they've got one of every color. We'll put them in here next to the Sky 10s. Well, there you have it. You can see they're still moving some things around. Running a shop is a lot of logistics. I think it's kind of lost sometimes on all of us how hard these kayak shops work, moving big, awkward, heavy things around. And the space required to do it and the personnel required to do it. So we started at about 11 o'clock and it's 3:15. And that's what these stores have to do to make more space, to be stocked up in a time where you might not be able to just add more to your orders in the middle of the busy season. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Happy paddling.